Hello, welcome. This is a video on how to complete the square. And this particular part on approaching proficient really talks about how do we rewrite something. How do we create the idea of a perfect square? And so I'm going to use a visual. If I've got x squared minus 16x, I might have something that looks kind of like this. I'm going to call this my x squared. This thing right here, that's my x squared, and then minus 16x. Let's do this. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, each of these being a negative x. So each one of those is a negative x. I've got 16 of them. That's negative 16x over altogether. And the only way to really create a square out of this is if I take half of these and put them up and half of them and put them down. So I'm going to say, I'm going to go out here and just call that, we'll call that negative 8. There's a 2, and now we've got 4, and now we've got 8. And then the other half over here. So those 2, there's 4, and there's 8. So that's negative 8 right here and negative 8 right here. I'm sorry, negative 8x. Each of those is an x. And this part right here, that's going to be the part that completes the square. And so I have to just think, well, what would that be? I know that the dimension up here is x. I know that over here, this is x. I know that if I take x times minus 8, that gives me the minus 8x. Same down here. So x minus 8 minus 8. So then essentially what I've got is I got negative 8 times negative 8, and that's going to fill in the blank here. A negative times a negative is positive, and so negative 8 times negative 8 is positive 64. And that's what would complete the square. And so that's what I would put right here, positive 64. And then what would that look like in terms of its dimensions? Well, I've got 8x minus 8 here and x minus 8 here. So essentially I've got x minus 8 times x minus 8. But I can, because it's the same thing multiplied by itself 2 times, I can rewrite that as x minus 8 squared. So here I put x minus 8. Now, let me go back. Because this is an equation, and I added 64 here, I also have to add 64 over here. And this 11 just happened to be there, so what I've got then is I need to add those together. 11 plus 64 would be 75 in this case. And so then if I wanted to continue, I could solve what this equation is by taking the square roots and all of that. But let me just first really quickly go by. This is kind of the b value, and so what we want to do is take that, divide it by 2. This is just like this is the visual explanation of what this looks like. But over here, I can say, if I just took that negative 16 and I divided it by 2, that would give me negative 8. And then if I take the negative 8 and I square it, I get the positive 64. And so that's where this comes from. It comes from taking half of the b value and squaring it. And that's what gives you the perfect square. The perfect square trinomial, which factors to this square of this binomial x minus 8. And that's the first part.